Hey, what's up, everyone? So, Bitcoin's been kind of going sideways the past few days after making its recovery. I believe that's actually a good sign. Um, I'd say, like, right now, the major resistance that we're looking at falls around 66.6K, about around 66.6K. And that'd be the 10 weekly SMA, which, if you look back historically, we rode it up this entire uptrend. Um, since October, and we fell below it. But the other times when we fell below it, those were great buying opportunities during this uptrend, like right here, slightly right here. We never closed below, we closed back above it. So we want to get back above this 10 SMA on the weekly time frame. I'm going to scale down to the daily time frame just to show you what I'm like seeing. This also coincides with it. Like I said, 66.6K would be the resistance. This also falls. We have like a little, I'd say, inverse head and shoulders. I think I posted about it like 3 or 4 days ago on Twitter. Um, so this whole area, I'd say, between 66.6K and 67.3K is sort of resistance. And I think if we break through that, we would get up to all-time highs. So something like this, like if we were to come up here and then maybe retest the recovery that we had from the past few days and then break out, something like that would make sense. Is it possible that we just break through this also? Sure. So like we'll just see how it reacts. If we get rejected here, then I think there's no reason to panic. I think it's just going to set up an inverse head and shoulders, which would be extremely bullish for like a major bottoming reversal pattern setup. So we'll see if that takes place. We'll see if it gets up to 67K over the coming days. I'm going to zoom in on the lower time frame. You could also make a case. This is on the 4 hour time frame, however, so it's not as reliable. There's clear resistance at around 64,700. We've been rejected here, then we dipped. We haven't been able to get above it. We've gotten close a few times. We looked above it. So if we can get through there, you could actually make a case that this is also on this time frame an inverse head and shoulders as well. I'm not sure if this right shoulder has been formed yet. Maybe we come down a little bit lower and form it more. You could also make that case. And if it were to break through, the actual breakout target, I measured it before I took this video, falls at 74K. So that would be up to all-time highs. It would take it all the way up here. So we'll just see what happens with, the resistance. I think overall, like I've been saying for a while, let me see if it's on this one. We are in an uptrend. So if we are in an uptrend, a consolidation period favors a continuation. And we're still in this consolidation. We haven't chosen a direction. I know last week a lot of people freaked out when we fell below. I was obviously telling people, hey, like let's wait for the weekly close. Daily time frame stuff doesn't dictate macro major moves. Weekly closes are more important. And of course, we closed back above. We saw that right here. So we're kind of hoping that we, start to take a trip up to all-time highs from here. And, this is a good, usually when you wick below like this and then come back, it usually, the move is pretty strong. And I think we've just been consolidating the past few days. We haven't really broken down. We'll see what happens though. Even like I said, even if we fall back to 60K or 61K one more time, not the end of the world. I think overall we're in pretty good hands right now. I'm going to go to, let's see, Bitcoin dominance. I'll show you guys. So Bitcoin dominance has held this. This looks like a inverse head and shoulders retest of the breakout. So as long as Bitcoin dominance stays above this, I think then Bitcoin is still, in charge. Bitcoin will be like the leader. If it does end up falling below, then alts will have their chance to make a run. So we'll just monitor this. I don't really trade Bitcoin dominance or anything like that. I don't even know if you can technically. Like, I mean, you could buy alts and stuff, but it's not something I stay on top of because there's other alts like I mentioned with Rndr. I mentioned it way back. Probably, I think my first tweet about it was around like maybe $8 ish around there. I can't remember exactly, but to me it was kind of like obvious. I saw this double bottom reversal, which is like a known, um, or not known, but like a more obvious pattern after a big correction that you want to look out for. So we saw the double bottom, the inverse head and shoulders, which we didn't see on Rndr, but other charts is also a very good one. Like I'd say those are my two favorites reversal patterns or ones to like look for because it's a clear line. Like this is the neckline right here. We broke the neckline. We're breaking even more resistance up here. So Rndr really looks good. And if I show you the weekly time frame, let me see with the RSI. I mentioned this on Twitter, so all this was already posted. This would be bullish divergence. I'm going to show you right now. Higher low on price, lower low on RSI. So that's bullish divergence right there. So a Rndr looks really good. And then if you look at it against Bitcoin, let me find that. It's actually the same story. There's bullish divergence. I guess that even this was bullish divergence actually. So you could even go back to here. This is a lower low on RSI with a higher low on price. So Rndr has bullish divergence and it had a bullish engulfing candle against both Bitcoin and USD. So like I said, it looks like the best chart. It's been the best chart. It's performing like it's the best chart. So it's definitely one of the more dominant charts. Then historically, this is against Bitcoin. All the charts on TradingView only go back to 2021, and this appears to be the top or the highest. So to me, this looks like a breakout right here back in February, and then we retested the breakout of all-time highs, and now we're bouncing. So I think Rndr's probably going to all-time highs against Bitcoin, and who knows where it can go, because when you get to all-time highs against Bitcoin, we saw this with FET. Let me see if I can find that, if I have it, which was another one that we were suggesting when it was a tenth of the price that it is now. Let's see, FET BTC. So FET like just took off, and this doesn't look like much, but this was almost a 50% gain against Bitcoin, and that was while Bitcoin was going up. So FET ended up going from like, I don't even know, it was like 70 cents to $3.50 within a month on the USD price. So I'm going to show you, let's see, Pepe, if I can find Pepe. Again, same thing. This one has an inverse head and shoulders. So it broke the neckline. It's coming back to retest it. It might have actually, you could say, retested it, perhaps. Maybe not. So as long as it holds above this area, I think Pepe will likely continue up. This is just a retest of the breakout and then a continuation up. I think I have Pepe against Bitcoin as well, which I'll show you. Unfortunately, actually it's right here. All right. So I'm going to go to the weekly time frame. Pepe against Bitcoin. I didn't even actually realize this until now. The weekly closed at all-time highs, or highest weekly close against Bitcoin ever. Well, at least going back to here. So regardless, this is like very bullish, like right here for Pepe, to have a weekly close above this structure from back in March. It's going to continue at some point. It's obviously gone up a lot the past few days, and we were suggesting it lower. We actually called the bottom of the correction at like 0.000005. But I think it's set up to go higher. So Pepe and Rndr definitely look good. And then the last one that I posted about was Rndr. So Rndr almost looks as good. It just needs to break this neckline. It got rejected against it, so we'll see if it breaks this neckline. It's around 760, 761. We'll see if that happens. But this is also an inverse head and shoulders. I'm going to go to total 3. Total 3, let's see. Held up here as support. It's holding. To me, this looks like it's going to end up continuing. I believe it can make bullish divergence on the weekly time frame. Yes, it can, because there's a lower low in RSI with a higher low in price currently. So if we can get like a bounce here and see this RSI shoot up more, it would create weekly bullish divergence, which would be massive. So we didn't even really, as far as I can tell, had that for this last run up. So, and we didn't have bullish divergence really here. I guess a little bit, but this is much larger. Let me see if there's anything else I can show you guys real fast. Let me go to stocks actually. Nvidia. So Nvidia, to me, if you look at like FET, Rndr, or all the AI coins, they all followed. They followed Nvidia up over here. They lagged behind a little bit, but they all followed up. And Nvidia to me looks like it's breaking out. Like this looks like it's trying to break out of this bull flag and wants to continue up. So the AI coins will see a lot of traction if that were to happen. So I'm not sure how much time's left. Let's see. I think Twitter only allows 10-minute videos. I have a Patreon. It's in my bio. So if that's something you guys are interested in, I'm going to probably be posting more altcoins there. If I see stuff, I haven't really seen anything else other than near Pepe and Rndr currently. So let me see if there's any random alts. Let me go to like, you know what coin also actually has decent structure or good structure is Solana once again. Solana, I noticed this is on the weekly time frame. This is bullish divergence it's trying to form right here. And also, if you go to Sol against Bitcoin, same thing. This also has potential bullish divergence forming. Lower low in RSI, higher low in price. So Solana looks like it's looking really good too. So that's another one. There's other ones. FET, if I could find it. FET also looks good, but I'd say there's a case to be made that FET won't perform as well as Rndr. It has to break this neckline. FET had this massive run, so I think FET actually looks better than like 95% of alts, or actually like probably like 99% of alts. However, I would say it doesn't look as good as Rndr right now. It doesn't have the weekly isn't gonna create bullish divergence just because it didn't make a lower low in RSI. That doesn't mean it can't go up. It's obviously been performing better than like almost every alt. So, but I'll also show you, this is, I think I have it right here. No. There we go. This is Rndr against FET. Now this is like an interesting thing. So this is like ratio. This is Rndr against FET. So when FET made its huge run, Rndr against FET, Rndr priced in FET dropped massively. But if you notice, if you look at this box right here, this has happened before. We saw Rndr dropped to against FET like right here, recovered, came back up. This time it went even lower, but ended up recovering all the way up here. So if it were to recover against FET, it would be almost a 3x against FET. So what I'm saying is that FET and Rndr can both go up, but it's possible. Like if you make the argument that this is the bottom, which I'd say if it can break this, put in another higher high right here, it already kind of did right here. This is a higher high, but if it can break this, then I think there's a chance that Rndr could really outperform FET. So that's why, despite FET looking good, I think there's a chance that Rndr might be like the better performer. And there's people that actually trade this. There's people that will sit there and they'll sell their Rndr here, buy it back here from FET, and then like swing back and forth. And that's like a good way to like get more exposure to coins. So I'm going to end this video. It's kind of gone a little long. Hopefully it's not too long for Twitter. So we'll say 14 minutes. Hopefully it works.